All right, what's going on? So we're here live in the studio, and we've got someone that's just set some insane, I think, records for the industry. Two guys here, and we got Jason Tisdale, Raul Velasquez. They are the founders over at TSG, right?
Yep.
Okay, what does that stand for?
The Spartan Group.
The Spartan Group, okay. Yeah, love it. Anyone that has the name Spartan in it has to be a good company. Okay. But yeah, so I'm excited to have you guys on, talk to you guys. You know, Raul made the connection with me. We both do jiu-jitsu, and we're both coming off injuries right now. So I'm hobbled up to the office today yet. I'm over 30 now, so, you know, injuries happen. But yeah, excited to pick your guys' brains and just hear how you've been able to hit some of these insane numbers and have a lot of your reps too. Just do 100K months, make insane money, close a ton of deals. So yeah, do you guys want to give maybe a little bit of your intro, how you started the company, and a little bit of your background for the listeners, and we dive into the juice here?
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Do you want to take that off first, or?
I think the man himself should lead off it.
All right. So we're fairly new to solar. We 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, we've worked. Raul and I have worked together for a decade, mm-hmm. And when the COVID pandemic, whatever you want to call it, started, our current industry, things shifted, and so we were talking man, what are we gonna do? What's the next path that we're going to take? And we had a rep that worked with us for years that was crushing it in solar. And it was first that we had really heard about it, was making $20,000-$30,000 a month. And we said, man, if he's making $20,000-$30,000 a month, we're going to make millions. Yeah. So we, dove into the industry, started here in California. And what we wanted to do it right. We from the beginning, our vision was to build the Spartan Group, to build TSG as we call it, and Raul will talk about this more later. But to build the biggest organization Solar's ever seen, sales reps, killers across the country. Yeah. We knew to do that we had to master and learn this industry from the roots, learning how to close a deal, learning objections. I still remember in the beginning. I didn't really have somebody that was training me to sell. I would go on some of the Facebook groups, some of these podcasts like yours, and Facebook solar objections, and start learning all these different things. And then, we've been in sales for a decade, putting that into practice here. So we, my first year, I sold over 100. And then that company bankrupted. And as you know, that's kind of a common thing I see with a lot of these people not doing it the right way. So I realized, it's not just about sales here. It's about being with a company that's going to install, being with companies that have the right priorities and ethics. So we went on a quest with this whole goal in mind to build a sales team, but we have to have everything in place for that to work. So it's been a long time coming. It's been 3 years now. We started TSG about 1.5 years ago, and we're fired up.
Wow, that's awesome. And yeah, before we started recording, you told me that your first week, you how many deals you closed your first week?
Yeah, man. So we, and those deals are like freebies, when you start, shout out to my mom and dad. They were one of my first customers. Okay. Yeah, it's how it is.
Power base, yeah.
You're learning how it goes. Shout out to myself, my house. Nice. But yeah, I got 6 deals in the first 24 hours, and I remember in that company, they're going nuts. What's going on? Who's this guy? And it's because it's so interesting how we did it. You're gonna get to hear more from Raul, but he's like, yeah, man, tell these people who you are, what you've done, your track record. You're a vice president and this and that. And I'm like, yeah. I want to sell and learn it this way too. So we're like, let's pause on the expansion. So believe it or not, we did not expand for 2 years. For 2 years, I mastered how to sell. Going in homes, and my first pitches, I would close the deals, but sometimes it would take me 3 hours. I didn't know how to, really get to the point quicker and create enough value and pain and different things. But yeah, my first few customers were my parents. I remember my first check was close to $30,000. And when you get in solar and you hear these numbers, it blows your mind, especially when you're in other industries. You're like, this isn't real. People aren't making that type of money. So I still remember joining and people telling me you're going to make $5,000, $10,000 on a deal. And it's like, yeah, I don't believe it. And then I close the deal. Yeah, I still don't believe it. And then you're like, you see the pay stub of the check that's gonna come, and you're like, yeah, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
And then it hits your bank account, and you're like, oh, hey, this is real. So yeah, that was the first week. And like I said, I worked in that company for 10 months.
Okay.
And you know, there's some crazy people. At the time, I thought it was a lot. We made $800,000 in those 10 months with that company.
Yeah.
But a lot of headaches. You know, that company bankrupted. A lot of deals weren't getting installed. A lot of pains. But yeah, that was kind of the beginning stages for what we did.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, we're talking about all these companies going out of business. We just had like the Titan closure and all that. And I did a podcast on this too. But for me, that's like part of why I'm still in solar, even though we see all these companies close, because it's like, where else can you go and make $30,000 in a week? I'm just thinking, man, even though I've lost out on all the commissions, like the checks I have seen, you know, I still make far more doing that, even with companies closing and not getting paid out, than I think anything else that I can think of right now. So like, man, I'm just gonna keep doing it until the wheels fall off this thing and go from there, I guess.
Dude, we can't agree more. The industry's nuts. When you compare it to anything, it's like unreal. Like it's cliche, but we call it the current gold rush. Like what's going on, how people can make money. We have new guys come in, and they're like earning as they learn. They're figuring out how this all works, and they by accident make $10,000 for the week, and you're like, hey, that's solar.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But yeah, so I want to hear from your side of the story, Raul. Like, did you come in same time as Jason, and did you have the same success as him, or is this guy just like a freak of nature that
For sure.
came out running?
For sure.
Yeah.
So because of what Jason had mentioned, the world changed. We were doing phenomenal in another company. We have great relationships in that company, but because of the shift, that's when solar became the target. My target and goal from the beginning was to build the biggest organization solar's ever seen. Because from my understanding, the biggest org right now, Sunrun, is just under 4,000 representatives. We've recruited tens of thousands of people in our previous company. So I said, okay, cool, let's learn it. I want to understand how to do it, put some deals up, but I want to scale. And Jason, to his credit, said, I need to learn the game inside and out. And I want to become the best, not in our company. I want to be the best in the world of solar. It was his obsession. Yeah. So me on the back burner was like, we need to find another company, because this one, we saw the writing on the wall. It ended up bankrupting, like Jason said, meeting owners from different parts of the country to see which one was aligned with what we were looking to do long term. So my objective from the beginning was to scale. I don't want to be the biggest team within this company. I want to be the biggest team that solar's ever seen. I want to be $1 billion company within the next 5 years with what we build. That's the objective. And in order to do that, you need numbers. You can make millions individual selling, but you're not going to make $1 billion on your own. So I think that solar as an industry is very similar to, for example, UFC 1, we had jiu-jitsu. You know, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, I'm a black belt. But we both know that Royce, all due respect, would get smashed right now because MMA evolved. I feel like the industry of solar has not evolved. It's in the beginning phases of what it could be. If you look at industries like real estate, insurance, look at the difference and the amount of professionals that do those industries that are less lucrative than the one that we're in. So I think that solar as a whole is kind of like Ray Kroc when he took on the system of the McDonald's brothers. The McDonald's brothers were, God bless them, they created something that was beautiful, but they did not scale it out. I feel like we understand different ways to acquire a customer that clearly by the results, who puts up 520 deals in a year by themselves? Even when we say that to people, when we're onboarding people, they don't even believe it. We send them screenshots showing them the numbers that he put up, and they're still in disbelief of it happening. Now, when you hear Jason pitch, and when you see him do a close, and when you see how effective he is, nobody questions it at that point. So my objective was always that. I want to be the biggest in the game. I want to create history by doing this. I'm not in this just to make some money. I already know how to make money. I want to make what's never happened happen. And I believe that we, 1,000%, with what we've already brought to the table, 2 decades worth of experience of building sales organizations in multiple countries, not just the US, we're bringing that skill set to solar. And that's why we've scaled to 800 plus people since October. We have people that call us every day wanting to align with what we have going on, and we're maxed at capacity. So we're looking for leaders constantly because it's a law of the lid. You can only attract what you are. So based on the fact that we have the capability to attract incredible people, based on real life results, that's why the scaling has happened. So I think more than anything, I have the utmost respect for him. He's my brother, he's my business partner, because he did exactly what he said. And he has never once put himself in a position where he requested something that he did not earn. He's never said, it's like jiu-jitsu. He didn't walk in and say, hey man, I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. Could you just hand me a jiu-jitsu black belt? Because I feel like in the industry of solar, that's pretty common. People want to be given, hey, this is what I did in XYZ. Yesterday's home runs don't win tomorrow's games. So why don't you come in here the way that Jason has, earn your way, and then then you're undeniable. So I feel like right now he's in the prime of himself as a salesperson, like Jordan. When he was winning championship after championship after championship, that's where the season that he's in. And what we're going to do as an organization, I've never been this excited. I mean, I live in Chicago, which is in the Midwest. I'm in California. We've been on 60 flights.
Yeah, that was like the last quarter of last year, beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Now that we have the headquarters here in Orange County, we've been trying
So
to get people
just
to
to
fly
give
us.
just to give an idea, 60 plus flights just this year alone, focused on expansion. That's the objective. This isn't like something part-time, we're all in. We're 1,000% all in. So I think based on what's already been done, we're on track to doing exactly what we set out to do, which is be $1 billion company within the next 5 years. We're sold out to doing it.
I love it. Well, you guys got the vision, got big plans, and that's super important. Was this always the plan from the beginning? Did you guys get in solar thinking you're gonna wanting to grow it? And
Yes.
All that? Yes. Okay.
Yes, from the beginning. Before we even knew what a solar panel really was and what inverters were, that was the objective. And again, it's because of our background. What we built for 10 years for me, I think 15 years for Raul, was that. We were all about leverage. We were all about J. Paul Getty's statement, I'd rather have 1% effort of 100 people than 100% of my own. Scaling this out, helping people succeed. So that's when we came into this model, we were playing chess. We had the end in mind. And we knew to scale that, we need to be able to bring value to the people we recruit. We need to be able to have a home that people don't have the rug ripped out from underneath them, that companies don't bankrupt. I even experienced it here. I didn't know that was a thing until we started selling. And so it's exciting. Like Raul talks about the numbers that I did last year. It gets addicting, as you sell solar, like you sell a deal, like the dopamine hit you get, you're like, oh man, I'm sure it's the same if you guys like to do jiu-jitsu, like you tap somebody out, but it's the same thing. Like you close the deal. Yes, we're helping the homeowner. They're saving money. They're putting them in a better position, but then you also made a ton of money and you're like, oh, this is one more on the list, and it gets addicting. So, I still remember in the first company I was with, I had a $70,000 month, and I had never made that money, even as a VP in our other company. And I remember telling my wife, it's close to 100. Let me just do 100 next month. And so then my wife, she made this sheet, this tracker, this thermometer, 100K thermometer. I would come home, I wouldn't even care about the deal or the commission. It would be about that tracker. We'd fill it in, and it'd go up and up and up. And then I hit the 100K. And it's like, I made 100K in a month. And then it got to the point where I would fill out 2 thermometers in a month. And then 3 thermometers, like working on getting one filled out. And then you look up, you're like, well, I sold 100 deals for the month. And you're like, dude, this is nuts, what's happening? But it just gets addicting. So last year, the objective was to be the standard, to be the bar, because we know respect is earned, it's not given. Right? I feel a lot of leaders in the industry, they're like, I'm a regional. Like you were asking before, like, are you a regional? What? Like, I feel like people are like, this is my title, and respect me. And it's like, no, it's earned. So go out and drop the deals. That's why we named ourselves a Spartan Group. We said, like, the king is in the front lines of the battlefield, showing the reps, hey, let's go do it. Not you go do it, let's go do it. Let's go drop these deals. Let's teach people how to do it. So like we're so proud of our squad. The amount of killers we have in our organization is what gets us the most fired up, man. Like I was bragging about some of our dudes before we started. I was introducing you to some of them. Like we have people that are making $100,000 in a month on our squad with the deals that they're dropping. Like of course we have to wait till they all get installed, but it's amazing to see people. Like we have guys that have dropped 30, 40 deals in a month. 5 deals in a day consistently, and those are things that get us going. That's the whole vision of the Spartan Group. We say we want to build an organization so strong you don't know who the leader is, because everybody's a leader. Everybody, and we're all partners. We don't say you're a manager, you're a sales rep, you're a setter, you're a regional. We're all partners. We're all here, And then we actually train them, not out of a book or not out of what somebody taught you how to do. One of our mentors growing up, he talked about being the source. He said, when you're the source, you have wisdom, and you give this wisdom, this training, and think of it as like a big bucket of water. Like that's the source, or a well of water. Yeah. And that well fills a bucket. And that bucket is kind of the source, but it's not the exact source. It has wisdom, so that bucket is successful. They can help people, but that bucket can only pour into like maybe a pitcher. And then that pitcher of water pours into a cup, and then that into a little teacup. We have a lot of teacups running around telling people, oh, this is how you do it, and they're training, and it's not as effective with their reps. Yeah. So the Spartan Group, we're great because everybody gets trained from the source, from the person that's actually doing it, and the results, show that. So
that's so good. Well, yeah, I was telling you, that's part of the reason why I still sell every day with doing this podcast, because for me, I respect people a lot more when they're actually doing the thing. They're not just talking about it. It's not something they did 10 years ago, but they're actually out there doing it on a daily basis, and they can prove their results and prove what they're teaching. I mean, but yeah, for you, do you think that was important? Was that your plan from the beginning? I'm going to go out and crush a ton of sales so then I can build easier?
Exactly. Yeah. So we planned that out. And, it reminds me of Taylor McCarthy too, which is well known in the industry. He still goes out and does it too. He's a trainer, but he does it because we know there's that saying, those who can't, they train. He disproves that too by going out and working. It's why he's so successful as well. We had that mentality. We said, all right, we got to learn these objections. We got to learn how to pitch. We have to learn how to close. We have to understand all the different programs. I've sold not just in California, but I've sold out in Texas and in Illinois and in Florida and in Arizona. Wherever we build teams, we fly in and I'll drop deals there to learn. What programs are there? It's different. People say, oh, well, hey, the kilowatt rate is high in California. Of course you sell deals there. Haters, Or, oh, it's so easy out here. It's dude, no, a winner's a winner wherever they go. They're going to figure it out. So, we had that. We did it the right way. We said, let's be the example, because you can't duplicate something you're not. I'll use your guys' jiu-jitsu as an example. You can't have a white belt train somebody to be a black belt. It doesn't exist. You got to be the black belt first if your vision is to have black belts around you. You got to be it. So that's how we built it. We've been patient with it, and now the floodgates have been opened. Our team, man, I literally lose sleep over it, of how many deals they're dropping and the success they're having. We live vicariously through the successes of our squad. They're out there working day in and day out, seeing those numbers drop. It's all part of the plan, and we really believe that it's not about the money, it's about our vision and what we're doing, and the money comes. When you're helping enough people get what they want, you're going to have what you want, and we have that abundant mentality. So Raul mentioned people come in and they ask for certain things. It's so perfect how we built it, because I joined an organization with zero overrides, $0, nothing. I was just a entry-level sales rep, and then even, we talk about regionals. I did not get a regional override until my 1,000th account as an organization was dropped. Then I was given a regional override. And us, we could have probably finessed getting hooked up. Here's these overrides, earn into it. None of that. None of it. To be a manager, get manager overrides, you need to do 100 deals a month. Boom, 100 deals a month, done. Once you have your 1,000th deal, you can get this. And we did it. So we did it the right way. And it just feels different when you earn the black belt. Hey, I put in the dues, I did it. Raul talks about some of these different places where they don't respect that and they give them quicker or whatever. You could probably more talk about that. But we did it the right way. So the foundation is built, and people can tell when we meet people, and I'm sure we'll get into it here on even some of the tactics we use to close deals, to help our team close deals, and it's all. You just can't deny the truth on what's happened.
Well, that's so good. Well, I love that too, just because I see myself that I think I let ego get in the way, and tons of people do it where they're letting a title at maybe, a company that's not doing great. It's for me, I was running these smaller teams at dealers, and just I mentioned that we had some install issues and all that, but I kind of overlooked all that because I'm no, I'm a manager here, so I'm hanging on to this title. So I was so resistant to looking at maybe better opportunities because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to go with this company where these guys are having way more success.
Right.
Because I'm going to be like bottom of the barrel. I'm not going to be a manager there. And then now I am in a better situation. I'm actually not technically like a manager. I run my squad of guys, but I'm not technically considered a manager right now at my current company. But like I'm making more money and I'm building. My team's already like, I think about the same size or a little bit bigger than these management positions I had at other companies. So I think I was kind of like blinded by that. I'm just like, oh, I want to stay. I have all this experience. I run a podcast. I've been in the industry 7-8 years. But like at the same time, I think guys need to look at, okay, are you surrounded by other guys that are having the $100,000 months? Are you surrounded by other guys that are the killers, the Spartans? Because if you're not, then maybe you should take a look and, okay, is this my ego, or is this maybe I should jump into a better situation? But no, I love that. So yeah, for you, Raul, like, have you been selling from the beginning too? Have you been doing did you do 500 deals your first year too?
No, not at all. Jason is, to your question earlier, he is a freak.
Yeah.
So the objective for us, the way I've always looked at it, I looked at it from a business perspective on the macro level. That's what I want. I want to scale. So again, because of our background, because of being mixed martial artists, I always view things in that lens. I don't know if you're the same way, where like all conversations like start directly back to. It's like, dude, I can't help it. You know,
it makes good lessons.
Dude, 100%. Like I mean, I love it. I train 5-6 days a week. Like it's an obsession for me because it's a personal responsibility. But I look at solar and I say, okay, they've gotten this one aspect of how to build business down, but they're missing all these other elements of it. They're missing the striking. They're missing the submissions. They're missing the Thai boxing. They're missing the dirty boxing. They're missing the whole complete package as a business. Yeah. That's where my obsession is. That's where I'm all in. And because we know how to recruit, if you take a salesperson, right, any salesperson, and then you could teach them how to build a squad of 50 people, let's use the solar term, setters. Yeah. They have 50 setters that are now feeding them as the closer, that person can now eat and exponentially grow his business within our organization. Yeah. And we're supporting it every step of the way. And the fact that solar is not bigger gives me the instant feedback that they don't know how to master the recruiting side of it. Yeah. Not only the recruiting, but the training. And I have Michael Jordan to train everybody that gets recruited into the Spartan Group. Yeah. So the entire system, all the flights that we've been on, traveling all across the country, recruiting the best, not just solar people. That's another thing that separates us. I go after people who own their own businesses, traditional businesses, roofing, real estate people, insurance brokers, anybody who's already crushing it in life. We say to them, based on your prior success, past success is a good indicator of future performance. We want you to come work with us. Here's what's available in solar. So my conversations cater to business. And then I tell them on the back end, this is the vehicle that we're going to make the money with. Do you want to align with us? Yeah. This is what we're looking for. They come in. We don't recruit one person. We recruit teams. Nice. We're bringing 40 people, 50 people, 75 people. We're not going to a market to close a deal. We're going there to build distribution in that state. Yeah. We did an event in Florida, the most recent one that we went on. They had 55 people in the room the second we got off the plane. Okay. These are all traditional business owners that are crushing it. They weren't existing solar people. And you want to know what I love about it? In my personal opinion, you get to train them the right way from the beginning. They don't come with their preconceived ideas of how it should look, or here's what I did here. It reminds me of those guys who come in, I'm a undefeated street fighter, and then you beat the shit out of them. And it's like, dude, congratulations, you're an undefeated street fighter, but I just made you tap so many times that your hand is raw. So I'm not impressed with what you did. Yeah. I'm telling you here, when you're brand new and you have already a killer mindset, you're bringing that skill set of being a raw wrestler going into jiu-jitsu, for example. Those are the best people to work with. Yeah. In my experience, it's actually not people who already come with their preconceived ideas and they're coming, like Jason says, with their this is what I've done. Bro, so what? It doesn't matter. And just like the mats don't lie. Yeah. That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. Somebody could tell me how great they are, how this, and Joyce Gracie said it. All the black belt does is cover 2 inches above your butt. That's it. Belt doesn't matter. True. Yeah. That's the same thing here. So what we base everything on is numbers. Let's see what your numbers say and reflect. And if people come in here, they're humble, this gentleman goes in and trains them on how to be the highest level killer. Yeah. Like, this is such a beautiful situation that we've created and a symbiotic relationship with everybody we align with. We don't just want people to come in and close solar deals. If they have an existing business, we will 10x their existing business as well.
Nice.
That's the objective. If they have a roofing company, watch how many more roofing deals you get by working with us. If whatever they do, they will see value in aligning with us.
Yeah.
We have an entire system that we go into on how we do that, but we do keep it exclusive to the Spartan Group. We do nationals every 90 days or so. The next one coming up in Vegas in August. It's by invite only, and we do work with our specific team. He's been asked, no exaggeration, bro, people to do a ride-along, willing to pay him $25,000 for a ride-along.
Really?
And Jason says, no. The only people that Jason will spend time with are the people who work directly with us.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show it's not about the money. They've offered him vacations. I've seen all this real time, like what they're willing to do so they can learn how he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And our objective is simple. If you want to learn the way that it's getting done, you work with us. No different than jiu-jitsu. Imagine somebody coming into your academy and saying, could you teach me everything, but I don't want to work with your specific academies. We don't view it that way. Join the academy. We will tell you everything that we know. We'll pour into you and make you a world champion. No problem.
Yeah.
That's the
awesome.
objective. Like, that's it.
Man, we should charge people like $50,000 just to listen to this podcast. They can't even come chat. That's valuable. Well, that's crazy, man. Well, I'm just thinking to myself, like 500 deals. So we'll get into that a little bit here, because I know this is the meat and potatoes that people are going to want to hear.
Yeah.
But like, how do you even have time to grow? So were you kind of like selling, Jason, then you were growing things on the side? Because like, I'm just thinking in my head.
Yeah,
I close
so
like 5 deals in a week. I
if
feel
you-
like I'm pretty busy closing 5 deals in a week. So it's like.
Yeah, for sure.
So
So we really, as Raul mentioned, started recruiting in October. The last quarter of the year is when we really started recruiting. So,
Okay.
And really, I was done selling by October, but then our company, let's see, who was it? I'm trying to think of their title. I think it was the CRO. Yeah,
Okay.
it was. It was the chief revenue officer of the company.
Mhm.
He said, "Hey, we're doing a big company-wide competition. Can you go win it? Like, can you do us a favor and win it?" They didn't want these other people to win.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, that some companies have different dealers. They're like, we need somebody from your guys' dealer to win.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll do it. So then that's when I sold in November and December. So then it was more. I think I was at like 400 something, and then worked in November and December because I was recruiting. We were focused on flying around, recruiting, expanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 500 deals, I know a lot of people. I've talked to veterans, and they're like, "Oh, BS! Like, oh, you can't do that." And
Yeah.
it reminds me of the 4-minute mile, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure when Roger Bannister did it, "Oh, I ran a 4-minute mile." People are like, "No, you didn't. No, your heart would explode." And then everybody starts doing it. The proof of what we did is so apparent because we have people on our team that are already over 100 deals for the year, and they're doing the same strategies that I utilize. So kind of what Raul was talking about, the way I see it in solar, you have a few mechanisms to sell a deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have the setter closer model where you'll have door knockers, you can self-gen knock yourself,
Yeah.
which I've done. You could buy leads. There's several companies you can go buy leads. You know, it's a whole different game. They're shopping you, whatever, but that's an option.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have referrals, or if you're closing deals, not just referrals from your existing solar deals, but referrals from past transactions you've made. And then you have the strategic partnerships that we utilize as well. So we had kind of everything working together to help me drop these deals.
Okay.
So yeah, like the 500 deals, I've done 10 in a day, 7 in a day. I think my record was 15. And of those 15, it was like 8 pitches back to back to back, those 8 deals. And then some of them had multiple properties, which all comes into questions we ask when we're closing deals. I've done group closes too, where I'll have like an entire HOA meeting where we'll get like a letterhead. Like, you just got to be resourceful with it. There's so many ways to drop deals that people sell solar in such a shallow waters.
Sure.
They never get better. I meet veterans who say, "Oh, I've been in the door-to-door space for 10 years." And it's, no, you've been in for 1 year 10 times.
Yeah.
You haven't got better. It's like somebody who's, "I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 10 years. Why do you have a white belt?"
Yeah.
Because that doesn't differentiate. Like, Raul got his black belt, I think, in 6 years. And people, the first question they ask is, "Oh, how'd you do it so fast?" It's like, "Well, I trained 6 times a week,"
Yeah.
where most people don't do that. So, yeah, anyways, people don't get resourceful on how to get deals. So a lot of my deals, my philosophy is this: if you close a deal, You should never not close a deal through that person and getting referrals. And sometimes people say, oh, well, you need the deal to be installed. Well, you don't. That's just beliefs people have that limit them. They're limiting beliefs. Yeah. So the way, like, I'll put this on the podcast. And again, like, we do keep a lot of things close to just our team. But, you know, we're on here. I'll give some things that we do. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
So I think the objective of a lot of solar reps is to close a deal, right? To get it installed, to make money. My objective is to get deals through that person. It's one step further. So when we close the deal, we're not done. Yeah. Like somebody wouldn't get the utility bill, show a design, and then start dancing and run out of the house. Yeah. They're gonna close the deal. And that's where it stops for them. For me, I'll say things in the pitch like, hey, today my objective is not to sign you up for solar, and then I'll plant seeds. I know that's going to happen. This is a no-brainer. You're going to be fired. That's already like money. They're going to be like, whoa, okay, assume the close. Yeah. But I'll say, look, my objective is to give you a world-class experience so you feel confident and comfortable referring me to all your friends and family, your neighbors, everybody, and I'm the best. And you're giving this confidence to the person. I'm the best. I'm going to take care of everybody you know. Put me to the test. Get me in front of your uncle. Get me in front of your brother. Get me in front of your sister, and I guarantee I'll sign them up. You see there's value for you here. You're going from, you're in San Diego, SDG&E, to this fixed payment with Everbright or Enfin, whatever. Yeah. You see the value in this. It's going to make sense for your friends and family. And then I overcome objections on the spot to ensure the referrals. Because if you ask for the referral, why are they not giving it to you? They're not giving it to you because, one, they feel uncomfortable with you and they're not going to tell you. Yeah. Like, do you remember back in the day, I remember I would go to the gym and they would give you that half piece of paper and it was like, hey, write down 10 names and numbers. You know what I would do? I'd be on my phone. Who do I not care about what they think about me? Oh, this dude in math class, I don't care about him. Let me put his name down. Like, because in our heads, we're like, we care about how we look. Right. So homeowners, they care about how they're going to look to the people that they're giving you. Right. So I overcome those objections on the spot, just like we have art when we close the deal. Yeah. There's art with that. So I'll say, listen, your friend, Jerry, that you refer me, they're going to name their next kid your name because they're going to save a fortune. I'm going to hook them up. They're going to love this just like you do. Yeah. Like, I'm telling you, I've never met somebody who tells me no. They're all going to love what we have. It makes sense to you. And then I fear of lost them. Here's the reality. If you don't introduce them to me, they're guaranteed going to get knocked on by somebody else and go solar. And you're going to go to their home, and you're going to go there for a barbecue, and you're going to be crying. They're like, what's going on? Be like, I could have made $1,000 or $2,000. I see you got solar. Who'd you get it with? And so I overcome those things, and I get referrals on the spot. And then on top of that, we have touch points that we train. After you close the deal, are you going back 2 days later when the inspection happens? You can get referrals then. Are you calling them when the blueprints are done and getting referrals then? Yeah. All of these are opportunities to get referrals. So again, back to the tangent of what I was saying is, if you do the work to close a deal, to make a commission, it should be even easier for you to continue that by getting somebody from them. And so for the solar vets out there that have dropped 100 deals in a year, shouldn't it just make common sense that they would have 100 deals the next year through those clients if they just work there? And I play games with myself where I'm like, if I could never knock another door, if I could never buy a lead, if I could never meet a new person, and I only had my Rolodex of clients that I've sold, would I be able to continue selling solar? And if you can't do that, you're going to be stuck on the doors forever. You're going to be stuck buying leads forever. And that's being the professional. That's what a lot of realtors do, right? They referrals only. And the best hairstylist in the world, what do they say? Oh, no walk-ins. Referrals only. I'm booked. Yeah. That's kind of the premise of a lot of those deals. Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, we just did a referral boot camp actually in Utah a couple months back. But yeah, just because that same reason, it's just like so much easier to get a deal when it's a referral, so much easier to close.
Dude, the pitch is way easier.
Yeah, and then it's just like, I don't know. It seems like there's better ways of getting referral because I'm from the typical door-to-door industry.
Right.
Came from pest control. We never asked for referrals. We just saw the guy on the spot.
That's crazy.
And then all the companies I was with, even at Solar, they didn't train on anything like that. It's just like
because they don't know how. They've never done it. You can't train somebody to be a black belt if you're a white belt. You don't know these things. Yeah. And like for us, I see you jumping out of your chair there. You want to say something? Oh, okay. like for us, the referrals I'm telling you, when you're talking about like you're doing a referral boot camp, I'm not even joking. I have closed deals. I'm sure people who have been selling solar have had a few of these on accident, maybe if they're not intentional about it, and it's the easiest thing ever. I've walked into homes and the guy will say, hey, John told me to sign with you. How much is it? And it's like, oh, it's $220 a month. That's what his, oh, sign me up. And there's no pitch, nothing. Like no design shown, nothing. No iPad. I've closed deals, no iPad, nothing.
Nice.
Just like, oh, we're signing you up. All right, give me a second here. Let me send these docs.
Yeah.
And I've gone like, I did this in our last training at our national event. I had the pictures because people are visual, and it showed. And it's so funny. Like I feel like ethnicities,
Yeah.
people like. Their network is mostly their ethnicity too.
Yeah.
So like I signed up this Asian dude in Fullerton, and I kid you not, I had a picture of 12 layers through that guy. Like that guy referred me to somebody who referred me to somebody, and I'm 12 people down, and the people don't speak English.
Wow.
I'm there and I closed this deal. I had the recordings of it and I showed it. I kid you not. I have the numbers. I'm like, this?
That's
and
awesome.
they're like,
Just showed the picture.
bro,
Just scroll through
yeah,
the
yeah,
pictures.
and they signed up, but it was so easy. I showed them 11 selfies of all these people that I had closed. Like, Mr. Kim sent me, and they're like, okay, and they sign up. So that's a lot of our deals,
Yeah.
and working smarter, not harder, like that is gonna help you run circles around people. So I have that, and through doing this, man, I have gold mines in my phone. If there's ever a competition or somebody's beating me and they start talking smack, I have people I can call that are like my referral honey holes.
Yeah.
And I have this guy Min, and I'll call him. I'll be like, Min, I need a favor, man. Like I need some referrals. I need some stuff. Like I got my schedule for tomorrow. Can you pack me out? And he's influential. He's a business owner. He's successful. He's like, no problem. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna help you make like 10 grand this week. Like, give me referrals. Boom. I have a bunch of those people on speed dial that I could call.
Wow.
So that's one aspect of the deals. Another part of the deals is the pitch ratio.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say, oh, how are you doing hundreds of deals a year? Well, a lot of those people that work hard are actually pitching hundreds of times, but they just suck.
Yeah.
I don't know, that might be too harsh on the call here, but it's just the reality, right? Like if you're not closing the majority of your deals, that's feedback that there's always levels.
Right.
Like of those 500 deals, I closed over 95% of the people that I pitched that I'm with, because we help create the frame of the reality. If you don't do this, you're going to get railed from the utility. You're renting your power forever. That is not a good thing. And we make sure we hit those pain points. I'll mention this too. In our pitch, like to break it down to the foundation, is we say we create massive pain. The biggest pain points we can. And we do that when we kill the bill, right? We're talking about inflation. We're talking about it never ending. We're talking about blackouts, about how laws change, massive pain. And then we're talking about urgency. These programs can end. The funding can end. Laws can change. And so with the pain and urgency, and then we give the value. The payment's $140. And you have to sell like this in some markets too that aren't California, where the payment's actually more for solar than it is for their utility. And we sell there too with this same dynamic. But it's like getting skillful to where we call it masterful closing, where you're closing more times than not. And I feel that's why a lot of people leave the solar industry, because, you know, it's crazy. Like for us, right, we're selling. It's like, why would anybody ever leave?
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of problems can be installers or bankruptcies or not getting paid. But a big, big problem is people think this is pie in the sky money and that it's just effortless.
Yeah.
You have to be skilled going into these homes. You have to know how to hit these hot buttons to get somebody to move into action. So that also helps with the amount of deals we close.
Yeah.
And then we're all touched on our strategic partnerships. I feel like that is another part of our secret sauce, is we are bringing value and influence to these businesses. So, and it's something that we've been doing for a decade in our previous company. I can't tell you the amount of business owners we've worked with that have networks and employees and businesses. We find a way to have a symbiotic relationship with them where we're asking discovery questions. We're saying, how many roofs did you do? Oh, you did 400 roofs for the year. How would you like to do 1,000 roofs this next year? Well, we can help train, get that done. Nice. What roofing business owner would say no to that? Seriously. They're going to say, oh, yeah, teach us how to do that. Right. And we're going to give them some of our referral sauce, how we get referrals on the spot, get more referrals from them. We'll tell a roofer, hey, listen, if you're good at your job, when you get a client, you put yourself out of business for 40 years. Yeah. You're not going to make another dime off of that client for 40 years. Would you like to double your money? Yeah. We're going to help you get deals. And so it's a lot of influence. Like there's not one business owner that Raul and I sit in front of that doesn't partner with us, because it's undeniable value. And that's also why it's so special what we have, because I'm not a solar sales guy. Like people say, oh man, like you sell solar? Yeah, I do, but we're business owners. Like we're building business, we're recruiters. I'm a chameleon. I can be a solar sales guy, but we're also going to recruit. And it's the same thing. It's all influence. Even in the home, we tell people you're either influencing the homeowner or the homeowner's influencing you. And we come in with conviction. We come in charismatic, sharp as a tack, expert in our field, like Jordan Belford says, and we're there influencing these homeowners. Well, we influence the insurance agents and the mortgage brokers and the electricians and the roofers to give us their book of business. So now think of, in a year, you close every person you get in front of. You're getting referrals from every person you're closing. And you have roofing companies, insurance companies giving you their contacts. Of course, you're going to drop 5 deals a day when you're working. You know, like, and I really feel it would have been more deals last year if I didn't have a wife and my 2 beautiful daughters, and I wasn't recruiting, and I wasn't on those flights.
I don't have time to do this, man.
That's why I say we're cursed, man. It's not. Patrick Bet-David, he said it best. He said, you know, when most people, it's about the money. Right? And he said, when you find somebody who makes money and they don't slow down, they double down, you know it was never about the money. It's not about the money for us. It's about being the best. It's about getting the rings. It's about helping other people. And so we're cursed, man. Like, this is our hobby. People ask me, what's your hobby? And I at least Raul can say jiu-jitsu. I'm like, TSG? That's my hobby. Like, this is what we do.
That's why Raul doesn't have 500 deals. He's doing too much jiu-jitsu.
And into his thing, like, we work so well together because, listen, before the 500 deals, Raul and I did the same thing. We were brothers in an industry that had mutual respect because we did the same thing. He was out in Chicago, I was here in Cali, and we did the same thing. So when we came here, it's like, hey, how can we divide and conquer? How can we master multiple things at one time? So I'm here working on the sales side. He's working on the expansion and systems. And my wife, who's the COO of our company with operations, figuring out our websites, figuring out our resources, our documents to help people. We all divide and conquer. And it just happens to make me look really good because in the solar space, people are like, oh, these deals. But it's not just me. There's an incredible team of people behind me. We have people that run pipeline that help with these deals getting installed. We have people that run with tickets that pop up on projects. We have people that help me with certain things that I need, going to site surveys. So I do get a lot of the praise and the credit, but the reality is there's so many people. Like, there's, behind any person who's successful, there is a team behind them that are, you just have the spotlight. So like, I try to be humble with it because without the squad, it would be impossible. Like like, I have somebody who sets my schedule, who helps with these things. So people see the number for the number, but it's not just me. So there's people that are in there, you know, helping it. So that's where Raul comes in. And that's why we've scaled to how we've scaled. And he helps protect my time and help create the space and like even set this podcast up with you. It's just so perfect. And people aren't used to it in this space. So I've heard it a lot of times, well, how many deals is Raul selling? And it's like, well, how many burgers is Ray Kropp flipping? Like, how many deals is the CEO of a company selling? They're not selling. It's like rules for thee, but not for me. And so we build this, and it's just something nobody's ever seen. I know you're...
well, just with like system, you can chime in too, but like, I was just going to say, and then let Raul have the mic, but like, there's only one person I know that's done numbers close to this. You might have heard of him. It's Ricardo Ricci, buddy of mine that I sold with. He did, I think, 415 deals in a year. But I saw him, and we had a big team of setters and all that, so he didn't have time to like ask for referrals or get referrals because he's got like 7, 8 appointments on his calendar every day. So it's like on to the next one, on to the next one. So maybe both you can speak to that. I would imagine it takes like a lot of systems to set these up and like planning because like if you're doing that many deals.
First of all, that's phenomenal that dude did that much. And you know what's great is when I hear that, like, I don't hate. I'm like, dude, that's amazing. I'd love to meet that guy. The most amount of setters I've ever had is 2 guys. But I guess if you take a strategic partner, they are a setter, right? Like a roofing company is a setter. True. We're just doing it through multiplication. The HOA board meeting was a bunch of setters who got these people. And I do have a team that helps with, it's still the majority of us recruiting or influencing those people. But it is very time consuming, setting those schedules, making sure that we can make the commutes, that we can, some of these deals are through Zoom.
Yeah.
Some of these deals were hopping on flights. I remember the competition, for example. Let's talk about that for a second. So our company is one of the biggest installers in the entire nation. Mm-hmm. And they have a lot of dealers. And so they ran this competition, and it was first place gets a Tesla. And so we won. We won the Tesla.
Nice.
But I remember calling Raul, and I'm like, dude, I think I'm going to have to sell in November and December. Mm-hmm. And he's like a chess man thinking 10 steps. He's, oh, perfect. Yeah, I'm going to help you set it up. Like, come out to Chicago. We're going to kill it. Like, let me figure this out. And I'd never been to Peoria, Illinois.
Yeah.
Ever. I went there, and I felt like I went back in time, man. Like, right. You see, like, a bunch of farms, like, you can get the picture. I'm there, and I had no time to eat. I didn't eat. And, like, for the day, like, people might see me like, oh, he eats. But, like, no, I didn't get to eat then. We were working, and we had, like, farm deals. And, like, talk about, like, being resourceful. I pivoted my whole pitch, made it up. I'm like, hey, look it. You know, the government here, they're making it hard for you to stay a farmer. I'm even getting like a southern accent. You know, man, the government, they're not really helping you out here. Like, we're going to really take care of you. Nice. You know, howdy, y'all. And anyways, we're talking to these guys, and I'm telling them, like, look, you own your farm, you own your guns, you own your car, you want to own your power. Like, you know, these utilities are going up. But anyways, the point was, Raul helped me win that competition. We met a farmer who owned the most land in Peoria, Illinois. The most land, like 5,000 acres. Wow. Like something nuts. It might have even been bigger. And so we signed up like 60 of his farms on the spot, all these deals. Oh, gosh. And yeah, like those are also ways that you just get lucky through the hard work when you're talking with business owners and putting yourself in these positions. But yeah, that was in December. So yeah, like there is a lot of support. There is a lot of back-end support of dropping those deals.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, how come, why did you have a goal to hit 500 deals? Was that the goal?
No. So the goal was 400. The goal was 400 and I hit it. So it was like, yeah, let's do 100 a quarter. And so then I thought like, hey, if I hit this sooner, I could be done. And it's funny because some of the VPs in our company, I told them I'm going to hit 400. So I hit it and I was chilling. Some referrals would come in. So I think I was at like 430 by the time I was done. Yeah. And then we started recruiting. And when I mean flying around, we were on back-to-back flights every day. Like we would not see our kids. Like people see what's built and they don't realize like the sacrifice that goes into it. Like I have a 5-year-old daughter, 1-year-old daughter, you know, a wife, Raul as well, has 3 kids and a wife. And like we were in El Paso, Texas, from El Paso to Florida, from Florida to Peoria, Illinois. From Peoria, we went into his hometown, Chicago, but not to hang out with his family, to recruit, and then to Arizona, and then to Southern Cali, to Northern Cali, to Nevada, and then the circuit continues. We go again, and then Texas, and then Houston. And so we were doing that, and it was just sharing the message, spreading the word. It's like, hey, this is what we're about. We are looking for strategic partners. We're looking for people. You don't have to have a solar background. We will train you. We will help you do this. And so it was just our mission. Like we're looking for people who are looking for us. Yeah. We're looking for people that want more out of their life. Like it's such an authentic come from that we have, which is so great in this space. I feel like a lot of times people are about the money, like, hey, let's go and make money. How can we make more money off of our team? Right. We make very little off of our squad. We make up, and that like comes from the top of our company, where it's like, if we can give our reps the best pay, we can get them the best situation where they don't have to compromise giving the homeowner a good deal and also making a commission. Because you have these red lines where managers are making sure they're getting their cut first before a rep gets paid. We don't have any of that. We're making sure that people can get paid. And so it's just so authentic. We're like, we want people to win. We want to help people. And so it's why we don't get burnt out. Like we can just go, it's why we joke around and say we're cursed. Like we'll just work 7 days a week because it's such a window of time that may not be here in the future, right? Like solar has this run. There is going to be a time, and I tell our team this, do you realize in 5 years, maybe 10 years, every home might have solar on it? Like here in California where we're at, it's mandated that new buildings have to have it. Right. So eventually there will be no solar to put on homes. Yeah. And this gives the urgency for people to sell. It's like, can somebody make money with Edison now? Like it's already, all the electrical wires and poles are up already. Like that money's been made. now this is the gold rush. This is the shift of wealth in the energy industry.
Right.
And it's for our generation. It's for 2020 to 2030. Who knows if it'll be here later. And so today is the day that we go hard. So and our wives are great, man. Like my wife works with us. And not just this, but like with the kids, like we have such great support systems for us to be able to do what we're doing. And you know, it's a blessing. And we attract people that are doing the same thing. So we're all in that window of time. But anyways, I've been talking a lot. I'll pass it over.
Yeah, I was gonna say they better be bought in. Otherwise, probably wouldn't have wives by now with how much you guys work. So that's good. But yeah, so something I always ask people, because you guys have grown a ton, sounds like, and opened a lot of new offices, a lot of new areas. So I've been with companies just where they try to expand, but then they don't have, I don't know, good leadership in those places, or just like, you know, a bunch of new guys that don't know what they're doing. So I'm curious with you guys, like, how are you able to start new offices and new locations without everything like crashing and burning with when you guys aren't in all the places at once? What's been your like secret to be able to do that?
I believe that to answer that question, one of the things, the focus, Jason's pointed out so much value already in what we've done in the infrastructure side. Even gave some stuff I didn't really want him to, in full transparency. But I'm just no. We want value to be received. The main thing for me in this building of TSG, there's two types of people that in any game, right? Imagine in the NBA. Most people, the common person, their mindset is, I would love to play in the NBA. I want to be Steph Curry. I want to get drafted. I want to be Michael Jordan. I want to be Kobe Bryant. My mind has always been, I want to be the guy writing their check. I don't want to go into a casino and say, I won at the table. I won blackjack and I walked out with 50 grand. I want to be the guy who owns the casino.
Nice.
My entire perspective, this is Kobe Bryant. I'm a specialist. I'm Shaq. I'm dedicated in what I do. And what I do is 1,000% in support of what he's built. He has built this skill set, and I need the world to see it. I need the world to know it.
Yeah.
I'm his megaphone. I'm the Dana White of what this man is doing. He's the GOAT when it comes to MMA.
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take the UFC around the world. So how do you do it? How do you get offices in different parts of the country? How do you get people signed in and enrolled? One thing I think in my experience of the industry of solar is that people just recruit other solar people. It's like everybody's trying to steal each other's girlfriend all the time. They don't have the game and capability to attract, and not only attract, maintain, keep long-term people with them. Why? Because it's the law of the lid that I talked about earlier. You cannot keep somebody in your ecosystem if you are not a different caliber of person yourself. It's not possible. It's like somebody going into Jiu-Jitsu Academy and the best guy being a blue belt. Once you get to that level and you surpass him, you don't respect that guy anymore, and you're going to go on to another academy. We have dedicated our lives to being the highest version of ourselves, and we know that finish never is. We will never be what we envision ourselves to be. It never ends. That's the beauty of having this kind of a mindset, to know that this is the worst version of myself that there's ever going to exist. 5 years from now, I would destroy myself right now in every aspect of my life. So when it comes to building business, man, we came into this already with an existing skill set that people don't understand. Why can we go out to different parts of the country, not only attract the best people, enroll them in the vision of what we're going to do long term? Because we have already done this in other industries multiple times. So we do have systems and processes 1,000%. It isn't because if you're maxed out at the capacity of you as a person, that gets tired. A person gets tired. A person can only do so much. What doesn't get tired? Systems and processes. We have mastered systems and processes to ensure that duplication not only happens, but we grow exponentially. And that's how we're going to scale to $1 billion. You can't do it just by, it's like going to training without having a plan. Oh, I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to roll hard today. It's like, cool. You're never going to advance your skill. You're never going to know how to do heel hooks. You're never going to know how to do knee bars. You're never going to do arm bars, guillotines. All you know how to do is go be tough. And an example specific to jiu-jitsu, look at what John Danaher and Gordon Ryan have done to jiu-jitsu. Prior to them, it was impossible for somebody to go into like ADCC and be able to win with that little of experience. They would get smashed. What did John Danaher do? He came in as a specialist. Gordon Ryan came in as a specialist, and he was beating people that were on the mats for 20 and 30 years longer than he was. And he's the GOAT currently. And he doesn't just beat people, bro. he systematically destroys them to submission. This isn't like a close match. Our objective is not to have close matches. We're not in competition with anybody in solar, FYI. We're not in competition with, we literally, in the mindset of abundance that he talks about, we want everybody in solar to win, because what that does, it shows that the industry is booming, which only makes it simpler for us to attract more people. So our objective is for everybody in solar to win. If you want to know how we win specifically, you work with us. Now, my thing is, when we keep our focus on the bigger picture, on the macro, everybody in that space is already going to get taken care of. We will systematically break down when we go into a market on how we do it, and because we have Michael Jordan coming to play the pickup basketball game with us, we're going to show them, while he puts up 100 points, how do you shoot a fadeaway jump shot? How do you cross over? When do you pass? When do you say, I'm going to rebound? When do you say, I'm going to sit down and throw the sixth guy in? We teach them that real time. As it's happening, and we're not just talking, we're flying into, to his point, to that local market, and we're saying, let us show you how we do this. And then after we leave, we still continue to support, and then we still go back into those markets to continue to support and help them scale. Because it does take time to learn something. And the biggest issue, I think, is most people lose patience because they only have one way of doing it. I go door knock, I have a setter. If that's not happening in the way, people lose patience. It doesn't matter what it is. But if you know how to enroll people long term, if your ecosystem is so effective and so attractive that people never want to leave you, and if they do leave you for something else, realize nothing compares, they're right back to where they left. So I believe that what we're building has never been done. I believe we're the future of the industry of solar, 100,000%. That's my belief. And I know that we're going to attract the best people, not just in solar. We're going to attract the best real estate professionals. We're going to attract so many people who don't want to own a traditional business anymore, don't want to be slaves to the business, a small business owner, 7 days a week, never seeing their children. We're going to give them an opportunity by working with TSG that they can be in the field, learn the game, build a distribution, so regardless if they're out there having to knock a door or close another deal, they're still earning money. That's what people ultimately want, is freedom. We work our face off. You have time, but you have no money. You have money, but you have no time. What if you have an equation where you figured out both? Him and I have not worked prior to solar for over a decade because we were already self-employed, already doing our own business. So what we did is we took that foundation, like wrestling, and we come into jiu-jitsu. Isn't it funny when the first thing people ask me when I came in, oh, did you wrestle? I'm like, yeah. Oh, that's why. And I'm thinking in my head, so because I wrestled 8 years, is that a negative? Because I'm bringing my experience? Just say that you don't like that you got destroyed by somebody who's new.
Like justify it. Like,
dude, yeah. And that's exactly what happens with Jason when we're like, we put up his numbers. Oh yeah, it's because of this. It's because he's a freak. What are you talking about? Instead, I'm the kind of person, if somebody were to do that and destroy me, I'd be like, could you show me? Dude, could we please have a conversation? What do you want? Let me take you to dinner. Well, in order to learn from you, I have to work with you. I can work with you. I'm in. Where do I sign up, dude? Could I be on your team? What does it take? We've had people, you know what's crazy? I'm going to give you an example. I had a business owner in Florida who owned a roofing company. You want to know what he said? Hey, how much is it to partner with you guys? In his mind, it was a franchise.
Oh, wow.
I told him $500,000. He said, done.
Down? Wow.
He said, done. This is what's crazy. And this is why I protect his time. Because he's such a giving, abundant person. Dude, if you're on the team, he'll bend over backwards, do anything that you need in order to win.
Yeah.
And most people are opportunists and they're takers. And they will take up that time. And they will take up his resources. And here's giving. And they're not doing their end. I said, no. We're going to have procedures set up that if you're going to get coaching in time, these are the things that are required of you. No different than anything else. We're not everybody else. We're the Navy SEALs. You have to have a measure, a bar. What do I love about the Navy SEALs? You got to go through that camp before you can have the title of Navy SEAL. If you want to be a Spartan, there's a process to it. And so we have everything set up, and credit to his wife, Liz Tisdale. I'm going to have to shoot her out specifically because she is so vital in what has been built in this infrastructure. Him and I are aligned in the sense that we go, man. We go. We just make this massive productive mess. And then Liz comes in and systemizes it. Dude, I remember, I'll give you one example. I'm going to give it back to Jason. He has this unreal ability to do what he does. He's never written anything down. He never wrote down his script. He memorizes his script. He could go on YouTube right now, bro, and you could listen to an Eric Thomas video training, and he could recite it to you word for word. I'm going to have him do it after this is done. I'm serious.
Bonus content.
So I'm going to have him do it so you can see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? Because we didn't have things written down. She heard his pitch. When I had this conversation with her, I said, hey, Liz, we have to systemize this. We need to make sure it's out of just Jason's mouth and on paper so we can scale it out. Within 24 hours, she had his entire pitch written down, word for word, exactly how he does it. And then, boom, we create a launch document. And now we're scaling. Now other people are saying his words. If you think of an actor, bro, you think that Will Smith wrote the script for what it is that he does in his movies? You think that Brad Pitt wrote the script for Troy? No. They're reading a script somebody else wrote, but they're reading it in such a way that you believe they are the actual character. We teach people how to be Oscar-winning solar professionals.
Nice.
That's what we're doing, 1,000%, bro. And wait till you see what we do with these offices that I'm not gonna talk about that, but
Okay.
like there's
Bringing the
more.
heat. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
But wait, there's more.
Yeah. No, this is all. This could be like a 5-hour podcast. I feel like. We
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kept it going.
Yeah,
We
we
might have to
busy,
do a
man.
part
Appreciate the
two. But yeah, I guess just last couple questions before we start wrapping up here. We talked a little bit about like what you need to do to hit the 500 deals, but like I don't know. Can you, for people that are listening, like, man, what's like the thing that's separating him to hit the 500 deals? Do you think it's like what you're saying? Do you think it's quality of the leads you're getting, that you're getting mostly from referrals, combination of everything? Or
Yeah.
what's like, if you could condense it into like
Yeah.
a couple secrets that you think
Yeah,
sets you
for
apart,
sure.
what do you think the main difference is?
Yes. So I think it's like I'm a doctor. So I do this with reps who want to hit those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We have to figure out the symptoms so we can diagnose what's wrong.
Okay.
Because it's different for a lot of people. For some people, if they're not hitting the 500 deals, it could be that they aren't working hard enough. So they're not hitting the right amount of doors, or they're not buying enough leads, or whatever. For people who are pitching 500 1,000 times, it could be what they're saying is wrong. So we have to figure out what it is. But I will give you this. We have a 4-step process for solar. Raul took this from jiu-jitsu. He's like, in jiu-jitsu, if you can make it basic, it's like, what is it? Get them on the ground, get past their knees or
John
past
Denver,
their legs,
take them down,
kiss them on the
back to
cheek. No. Whatever it is. They got their 4-step process, right? Give them a hug, choke them out, look them in the eyes, kiss them on the cheek, got your thing. But it's
I
so...
only let him speak this way because he's my brother.
You better watch out. Anyone else?
man.
Yeah, we have a
Putting a
tight
chokehold.
relationship.
Yeah. But in solar, we have our 4-step process. Step 1 is get an appointment.
Yeah.
Get the bill. Get an appointment. So if people aren't getting the appointment enough, we need to figure out how they can do that. And we have mechanisms for that. Knock more doors. Get more referrals. Recruit more people, whatever. After the appointment, it's close the deal. Be a masterful closer. If you're finding out that you're closing less people than you're pitching, like the majority of people are not signing up, you need to you need to seek mentorship. My mentor at a young age said, you need an uncommon mentor. A mentor and a friend are different. Friends tell you what you want to hear. Mentors tell you what you need to hear. Yeah. You need to find a mentor. You need to find somebody who has what you have and then do what they did. So find somebody who does close a high percentage of pitches and emulate their pitch. Yeah. Like Raul talked about, we got a transcript of my pitch. What's funny is the big blocks are the same, but they're all different because we're adopting, like we're adapting to the person in the home. Right. So if somebody's like, get to the point, what are the numbers? Like, we're a lot quicker. Or if somebody's like, oh, happy, and like you wait till they want to go on vacation with you and then you go through it. So you always adapt, but the same fundamentals are there. Create pain, create urgency, and then create value to close the deal on the spot. So if people's close ratios are high, then it's, hey, we need to get you in more opportunities to close deals. Yeah. If their opportunities are high but they're not closing, we need to get their pitch better. So these are all things we need to figure out. And the way we figure out getting more appointments is by being more effective at getting referrals, by recruiting these strategic partners, by getting more setters, by knocking more doors, whatever. You increase that. So like you just figure out how to do that. But if you think about it, 500 deals is really not that crazy. People think it's crazy, but think about this. It's like the saying, I really believe I could hit 1,000 in a year. If I didn't have a wife, didn't have kids, didn't have TSG to worry about, and I just was a closer,
Yeah.
Like, this is how I would break it down. Like, have you ever seen that, like, he's talking about Eric Thomas and David Goggins. Like, I listen to their stuff all the time and I memorize it. But have you seen the David Goggins one? He's like, the guy's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm doing the math, man. Like, I'm seeing how many pull-ups I can get in a minute, how many pull-ups I can get every second. Like, and I'm figuring out how to break this world record. So I break it down that way. I say, don't look at the staircase. You might get overwhelmed. Just put your head down and look at the steps. So if we break it down, there's 52 weeks in a year. You're telling me you can't get 10 deals a week? You're telling me if you're working, you're sleeping 8 hours, you got 16 other hours. Let's say you're only working 8 hours a day. You're telling me you can't figure out getting a deal and a half a day? Yeah. Like, people can do that. But what happens is, and look, people are naturally, we're self-sabotaging human beings. Yeah. You know what people do in solar? They add the math up. They're like, hey, I just closed this deal. I made 10K. My bills are covered. Let me chill out. Let me relax. They don't keep the pace. They don't keep pushing the pace, going to the next level. Because I know for a fact, if I said, hey, you cannot sleep until you get a deal every day, you're going to get a deal. Like, if you don't get a deal today, your life's over. Like, people are going to figure it out.
It's like Eric Thomas says, if you want it as bad as you want
if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Exactly. Yeah, that stuff, right? So, exactly. So when you break it down like that and you're like, 52 weeks, I need 10 deals a day. 10 deals a week. That means if I'm going to work 5 days a week, I need 2 deals each day. Mm-hmm. If I don't, I'm not hanging out on Sunday with my kids. I got to get these deals done. And you commit to it. Like, being our word has power. Yeah. Like, our word, we are so committed to it. If we say something, it's already done. Yeah. So it's like, okay, can you get 10 deals in a week? I know for a fact, if we did a quest to find out how many solar reps have dropped 10 deals in a week, there's hundreds. There's for sure hundreds, right? I'm sure you've closed 10 deals in a week. We've known people who've closed 10 deals in a week. Yeah. But if you say how many have closed 520 in a year, nobody. They don't do it because they don't keep it up. They're like, I made $100,000 this week. Why do I need to work next week? I'm going on the vacation. You see what happens in the industry. Let me go get on the yacht. Let me go flex on Instagram. Let me go do this. Let me go whatever. And they do that. Do you know, I just barely bought my toy, my Ferrari. Like, I just got it. Like, I could have got it a long time ago. But we're focused on grinding, on just working. Those things can come later. Like, you pay hard now and you play later. What happens in the industry is people work hard and then they play hard. And then they work hard and they play hard and they lose the momentum. They don't have these stories. So if you just segmented, we work in 60-day runs, 90-day runs. There's a method to our madness and our strategy. The reason we have our nationals every 90 days is because we have people focused on just those 90 days. How much can we really get out this quarter? Like, I introduced you to some of these guys here who had 100 deals for the year. It's because they're focused on these 90 days. Yeah. So when you're focused on these 90 days, you really are like, yeah, I'm not going to take that vacation right now. Yeah. And I know there's going to be people who are like, oh, there's no balance in that. It's like, dude, whatever. Like crazy people.
Could you share the baseline?
Yeah. So I
think that's a big.
We can go through that. So this kind of goes back to the self-sabotage that we were mentioning. Uh-huh. So when somebody gets a deal and they make 10K, they're used to making 10K, so they relax. Yeah. They're not used to making 20K or 30K, so they stop. It's a baseline. It's what we're used to. So people are used to a certain amount of deals a month, and they hit it, and they slow down. Yeah. If they get way less than that, they're freaking out. Oh, I got to figure out getting back to where I'm at. And then they scramble, and they get it done. Yeah. If somebody accidentally goes way over their norm, the next month, they have a shitty month. And it's because unconsciously they're like, oh, I did so well, I can not work as much. Like, we all have a baseline average for our weight, right? Like, if you're used to a certain weight and you go under, you figure out a way to eat unhealthy and then you're back to where you were. If you gain a lot of weight and things are getting tight, you're freaking out and you start doing things to get back to where you're used to. People are like that in solar. That's why I joke around and say, oh, these vets, they're not vets. They've been in solar 1 year 10 times. Like, they never level up. They never grow. They're hitting the same year over year numbers every single year. Yeah. And they're not segmenting out like, hey, this is where we're at. How do we get to the next level? How? And that's where we're always like, how can we get better? It goes back to the beginning of the podcast when I hit that 70K month. Some people would say, 70K in a month, that's like 800, 900 grand a year. Let's throw a party. Yeah. Let's take next month off. Yeah. But my brain's like, I could get to 100. Maybe I can get to 150. Yeah. Maybe I can get to $1 million in a month. Maybe I could do this. And so it's always finished never is. We're getting better. So to answer in a short, thing for how can somebody get 500 deals? Yeah. Like, you have to, it's how you write the goals. So if your goal is 500, there's 365 days. Break it down. Are you willing, how many days of the year are you willing to work? 300, 250, great. You need to get 2 deals a day.
Yeah.
Now let's break the day down. How do you get 2 deals? If you hit 100 doors, are you going to get 2 deals? If you buy 100 leads, are you going to get 2 deals? If you talk to 100 roofers, are you going to get 2 deals? But it's figuring it out that way and then staying consistent with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not what I remember I told my wife, like, yeah, I went to the gym today 3 hours. I ate clean. And she smashed me. She says, it's not what you do in a day. It's what you do daily.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like,
It's a marathon.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so the question that I'm sure people ask you all the time, so you close 525, right?
521.
521.
Yeah.
How many of these actually went to
So
the roof?
installed, yeah. So, deals get installed throughout, in California, it's a lot different than in Texas. Like we have teams that we can test this on. I've sold deals in Texas, they get installed in 5 days.
Okay.
We sell deals in Florida, they get installed maybe 3 weeks.
Okay.
In California, it might take 6 years. No, I'm just kidding. Over here, it seems like it's like 60 days, 90 days. Our company's so big that there are bottlenecks with that, and installs don't go through that well. But if you add up the installs at the beginning of this year, which is from a lot of the deals last year, we're in the 200s of those that have installed. It will definitely be more. I've looked. We have like 100 of those that are still in permit or whatever.
Okay.
Also, you got to remember last year NEM 2.0 to 3.0.
Yeah.
So there's like interconnection issues.
Yeah.
I bet you we'll finish with like 300 of those installed. And I'll talk on that too. Like I would rather have somebody close 10 for 10 and have 2 cancel than close only the 3 that were laid down easy. If somebody is installing the exact amount they're closing, they're not closing enough, right? And look, we don't want to waste time. Like, I don't throw numbers up to brag about the numbers. I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
We're just making the best use of our time. If we leave this home and you don't sign up, I'm making $0. So let me hard close you, create value, sign you up, and if you cancel, you cancel. But we have toast prevention metrics to work on getting that, saving the deals. But yeah, that's our thoughts on that.
Okay. No, that's really, because I know there's probably every sales guy listening to this is like, oh, I bet you only installed 50 of those. Or
Yeah, haters.
something.
Yeah, that happens. And like, listen, when people's thoughts go to that, like I don't understand those people. Like you mentioned Richie, I think, that dropped 400.
Yeah, Ricardo.
My brain didn't even go there. I'm like, man, 400 deals. That guy figured out a way to get 400 people to say yes to solar.
Yeah.
What a savage,
Yeah.
right? What a savage. And like, if we look I've been selling for less than 3 years. I've installed over 300 accounts. So it's like every single year over 100.
Yeah.
So they install.
Yeah.
It's just some take time. Like I just had 5 installs in one day the other day, and the part is so crazy. The electrical part that was needed to install these homes, because it was a like this weird system, outdated thing. This part took 8 months to come. So from sign to getting the part and the permits, it took 13 months for it to get installed. And people might be like, "Oh, what the heck?" But like, that's just the game we're in. This is construction. Sometimes there's things that go on.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, well, this is probably my last question, but like, what drives? So you hit the 400 deals, and I know you touched on this maybe a little bit, but like, why did you decide to go out? And was it just because you're traveling all over the place and you're like, I'm just gonna get more deals, or why did you decide to keep going? Because most guys I know, even Ricardo, my buddy I told you about, like he hit 400, and he's like, all right, I'm done for the year. And,
Right.
He's grinding most of the year, but he would do like sprints and then take a little break.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're just like kept going. Like, why did you keep going? Why not just like hit 400 and take it easy at that point?
So yeah, and I wasn't taking it easy. I definitely was shifting my focus after I dropped the 400 into expansion and into us recruiting. I was still putting the same amount of effort, same amount of energy into a different avenue. I decided to sell more. Remember, I talked about that competition. They called me up and said, "Hey, can you go win this competition? Like, can you go rep your guys' region?" And I said, "No problem. Let me go knock that out." So that's why we started selling again.
Okay.
And then also it goes like hand in hand. Like when we're building new teams, it's kind of hard when you hear numbers. Like right now, somebody might be like, "Oh wow, 500 deals," or Ricardo's 400 deals.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe it, but when you see it live, you're like, dude, that's nuts. So even the teams we build, we stay relevant. This year I have over 100 deals so far. Not nearly as much, but it's still being relevant, showing the team like we're dropping deals. So I'm always going to sell when we go out and we show people, because there's some professors like in college, they'll teach how to run a business out of a book instead of just watching a business owner run a business. So our trainings are blitzes. We'll go out and we'll drop deals. and we'll have people shadow me. I remember in Chicago, I had 10 dudes in the home with me. 10.
Oh my God.
10, man. And it was hilarious. Like the guy, we rolled up to the house, knock on the door, he opens it, and I'm like, hey, I know this is crazy, but we're going to have a party in your house. We got 10 dudes here. I flew in from Cali. I'm going to take care of you. Is it cool if these guys come in? We're going to have a good time. I'm going to help you out. He's like, yeah, come on in. Done deal. I'm like, what? This is guaranteed, guys. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
He's feeling the pressure to sign.
10
Like
dudes,
10
bro.
people.
Yeah, like sign or else. You know, that's my secret. Sign or, hey, these guys.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like that's why we'll keep selling.
Yeah, okay. No, that's awesome. Well, it's been fun, and like I said, I know we could go on forever, but I know you guys are busy guys and got deals to close and everything too. And so if people want to connect more with you two and, I don't know, possibly like hear more about the team, pick your brains more, what's the best way to connect with you guys?
For sure. So the website is the spartangroup.io, and they could fill out information right there if they're wanting to see how they can work with us, collaborate. We'll get back to them within 24 hours of that. My Instagram handle is raul.operator. Jason's Instagram handle, which he never goes on.
Yeah, I think it's Jason Tisdale. I think there might be an underscore, actually. Let me see. I think it's Jason_Tisdale. But you would think I was a secret agent for Solar because I haven't posted anything. Yeah, it's Jason_Tisdale. You'll see my wife and my daughters on there.
So I would say those are the best ways to get a hold of us. From there, DM, we can exchange numbers. We literally do Zoom meetings every day of the week, 7 days a week, recruiting all over the country.
Nice.
So we're looking to work, and to be clear, we're looking to work with the best.
Yeah.
Like that's the bar. The bar is the best. In any industry, that's what we want to work with. If you are that, then reach out to us. If you're somebody who is not resourceful and not looking to actually put in work and just wants a ring, we're not the team to work with. We just want to set the bar and the standard right out of the gate. Because in order to win championships, we are the dream team already. We want to add more people to that so we can continue to make history.
Yeah.
That's the goal. So by the way, Taylor, before we wrap up, I want to thank you for making it a point. It just goes to show the kind of person that you are. You're a martial artist, so you're already separating yourself. You're already a one percenter, and I'm always going to build that up because I know the price that people pay when they do that walk of life. Yeah. Second thing, you yourself, as you're doing interviews and helping the overall industry grow at a macro level, are in the field, dropping deals, you're in the field, serving the team, and then you're still making the time to do a podcast. You're driving out here 2-3 hours away. You have a full schedule that you have to go make money for your family, and you still make it a point to be here in service to the industry of solar. So I appreciate you as a professional because what we're going to do together is going to be impactful for everybody that gets involved.
Yeah.
So you're the man, brother. Appreciate you.
Of course. No,
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
I wanted to, of course, thank you as well. What I wanted to end with is there's a lot of people I'm sure that are watching this that this is, maybe you're looking into solar, maybe you've been doing it for a little bit. I want to speak to that. Solar has changed not just my life, but it's changed hundreds of people's lives in our circle. It is the place to be. If you find yourself, uncomfortable, that's where growth happens. That's where your life's going to level up. This is not magic, but if you put the work in, I really don't see any other space right now that the amount of work and skills that you can create for yourself that pays as much as what solar does. Sure. This is the place. So like if anybody's ever wondering, hey, should I be getting into solar? I know it can be intimidating when you hear these numbers and what's going on. There are average people that are crushing this industry. Yeah. Like we don't talk about that enough, but we have people in our organization, even in TSG, that are just dropping 5 deals a month, and they're making, 10, 20, 30,000 a month. And that is life-changing money for the average person who can work a couple weeks a month and go do this. And it is phenomenal. And those numbers, I still remember when I was looking into solar and I'm Googling, well, how much does a solar sales rep make and this and this? And I couldn't find that real answer. Yeah. It was like the average makes 60,000, 80,000. And until you're in the industry and I'm just speaking to that person who's new, it's so hard to believe because I never made that type of money in my life. I did okay, but nothing crazy, not millions of dollars a year. And when you come in here and you hear these numbers, it's so easy to be like, yeah, that sounds too good to be true. This is the industry. It's why it's really popping off right now. People, despite the law changes and companies going out of business, solar is in a phenomenal spot. And this is an industry I really believe you can make a career over the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years and really set your family up, long term. This is the place to be. I appreciate your podcast getting the word out. You're a messenger too, sharing this industry. And listen, we don't care if you work with TSG, if you work with any other company, that's fantastic. Like, this is ultimately to help you get to your spot. We're abundant thinkers, and that's why I agreed to hop on here and speak, because if we can just even help one person listening to this podcast to make that decision and they go change their life, it was freaking worth it for all of us to be here and talk about it.
100%. Love it. Well, thank you guys again. And yeah, I mean, they say, I'm sure you've heard this, Raul, but they say a black belt is just a white belt that never gave up, right? And so it's like the same thing with solar. I think everyone can have success in solar, but the problem is people just don't have the right mentors. They give up too quick and they're out of it. And so I hope we can all, anyone listening to this, I hope they will keep going. If you're not in the best situation, go seek out good mentors. Go see if you can get around better people. And I think that's what can hold a lot of guys back if they don't have that, for sure. And so last question, Jason, just to end with this, what's your best closing? You're at the end of the deal. What's your best closing line? How you walk in? I know the close comes before the line at the end, but like what's your closing line to get these people enrolled?
So I have so many assumptive closes at the end, but I'll give you this. My best phrase, my favorite phrase is, let's do this. I love that because it's not commanding, it's not needy, it's not, do you want to do this? Mm-hmm. It's, hey, let's do this. I have a lot of takeaways. I never want to set up a close to where we say, do you want to go solar? Right? Because that's a yes or no. I always make it to where at the end they're like, oh, we went solar. And it's like, yeah. So like asking a girl, hey, do you like Italian food or Mexican food? Oh, Italian? Great. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. or 8 p.m.? Oh, 8 p.m. You want me to pick you up or you want me to meet you there? And it's like, oh, hey, I guess we're having a date tomorrow at 8 p.m. Yeah. So I kind of close like that. Like, one of the things I'll get to after I've created value and everything, my close will be, hey, before we continue here and make sure that we can get you qualified, I just want to go back to the design. Is 18 panels good? I think this looks good. You like this? Okay, perfect. And is this your email? Is this is the right email? Okay, jerrywest@gmail.com. Okay, perfect. Are you familiar with DocuSign? Perfect. I'm going to send this away. We're going to initial this, and then I'll be able to schedule our site survey to make sure your home qualifies. So let me send this out real quick. And then pull your phone up. You got it? And then the key is, and they have it, you keep conversation. You don't go and you wait and it's all awkward. I'm like, yeah, so anyways, you're telling me about your dog. It was a Rottweiler. You've had it for 8 years. I was like, oh, yeah, go ahead and click that. Yeah, sign there. Yeah. And so also, you're telling me that you've lived here for 15 years. Beautiful. Yeah, click that one too. You see next, click that. And before you know it, they're done. It's not a big deal, and you have it all scheduled. If they want to read it, I'm like, yeah, I'll read it with you. Like, I'll tell you this. I never read the utility documents before ever in my life. Like, I just pay the Edison bill, but this is amazing. It's just really that, let's do this. This is what we're doing. As far as rebuttals and objections go, we do have like a big objections panel that we cover. I know Raul's like getting nervous right now. Is he going to go through all this? But yeah, dude, like, reach out. We have a lot of stuff like that we go through, but that would be my favorite, just assumptive close.
Yeah, I like that. No, I made that mistake. Like, they were asking to read it, and I'm, didn't have a good concern. But it's like, do we read the terms and conditions for iPhone? Do we read the terms and conditions for Facebook when we signed up? It's like, if you can get them thinking that same way.
Yeah, and if you can keep that flow of the conversation, it's like, yeah, just go ahead, then it's all good. Like, if we don't make a big deal about it, they're not going to make a big deal about it. Just like socials and other things. Like, I've had people like, don't be alarmed. May I please have your? It's like, you're never going to get it that way. Like, you just got to be chill. No big deal. This is just our process. We go through it. Yeah. And if you've done the steps prior, because we're playing chess, we know we want to close. Did you create enough pain? Did you create enough value? Is there enough urgency to do this now? Yeah. And then, assumptive close. Most of the time, it'll be smooth.
Boom. All right. Well, we're not getting the entire script today. Maybe that's only paying $50,000 on the next podcast. So we'll go through his entire script. Okay. But thank you guys again. It's been awesome. And looking forward to seeing the growth and seeing you guys get to $1 billion. We'll do another podcast for sure.
We're shooting for the sky, man. Okay. Our vision is so big that everybody can fit in it. So we're like, this is what gets us excited. Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, well, anyone listening, hit Raul, hit Jason up. Let them know you appreciate them coming on the podcast with us. And thanks again, guys. It's been a privilege.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.